Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 14th of September up until the 20th to see if there's anything coming out that's worth your time and money. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out.
Okay, this episode is sponsored by PQ with their recent release, NanoApostle, which I'm sure you can already see just from the visuals alone is an absolutely cracking title. It's set within the bowels of a shadowy research facility where Anita, a girl birthed from experimental procedures, she's implanted with the sentient nanomechanical entity known as an apostle. She fights against different bioweapons, things like axe-wielding mechs, weird psychokinetic terrors, and loads of others, and they're multi-stage battles. The enemies have basically got a fail-safe in them, where when you're threatening them, they become more ferocious, and they can warp the environments around them to make your job more difficult. There's a symbiotic relationship between Anita and Apostle which grants her numerous abilities such as a dodge, parry, a series of slashing attacks, as well as projectile moves. And it's got what's known as the destruction point system. You can basically utilize Apostle's nanites to identify structural weaknesses and then exploit your opponent's vulnerabilities to land more powerful, devastating blows. So NanoApostle costs £16.99, regional equivalents at the bottom of your screen, but there is a 10% discount that runs all the way to September the 25th. Certainly worth checking out. And a thanks once again to the publisher for sponsoring this episode.
Let's start with one that I'm pretty sure people have been excited for a while. It's out this week. This is the Plucky Squire. This was on our list of games we were most excited for this year at the back end of last year, and it's a game we saw recently at Gamescom in Germany, and it follows the adventures of Jot and his friends, who are storybook characters who discover a three-dimensional world outside of the pages of the book. The villain of the piece realises he's destined to lose, as it's written in the book, so he kicks Jot out of the pages to change the story forever. Jot has to restore the book's happy ending, and this basically equates to a number of different styles of gameplay, jumping between 2D and 3D worlds, and solving a number of puzzles within each of the levels. It just looks lovely, it's a great concept too, with that change both in art style and gameplay by the looks of it. Looks like a game that's full of charm, and it's out on the 17th of September if you're also looking forward to it. It will sell for £26.99 or your regional equivalent.
Not let the people down, and luckily, it seems that he has found an answer to their question. Yes, Jot, that seems to be working. You always...
Next then we have Keylocker, turn-based cyberpunk action. I must say, I don't understand why games have started to do that, put a really explicitly obvious title of what sort of game it is, rather than just have something that builds a bit of mystique and sounds quite interesting. Having said all that, this does actually look pretty interesting, it's just that weird title that knocks it for me. And as you would expect from that title, it's a turn-based JRPG. You play as a singer and songwriter, and it says you'll fuel your moves with the electric power of music on an unforgiving planet, using real-time execution of moves in rhythm game style. It goes on to say that you can choose your path as a cyberpunk rebel, where each class has its own unique skill tree, control electricity with your music, transforming it into attacks or defense as needed, and that it's classic turn-based combat with a rhythm game twist, as I mentioned a moment ago. It does also make a point of saying there are no random encounters, and that you'll befriend citizens or can betray them, hacking into their profiles to acquire resources. Sounds like a good game, I must say, and I do like the art style. Has the look of a really souped up home computer game, Commodore 64, Amiga, something like that, and I really do appreciate that. It's out on the 18th and it will sell for £15.99. Then we have Hunt and Fight Action RPG, and having literally just said this in the previous entry, there's another game that does it. I had to just go and check whether the two were from the same development or publishing team, because it's another one that feels the need to put the type of game it is in the title. Aside from that though, it says after your ship was caught in a terrifying, powerful storm and was wrecked, you find yourself on the shore of an unknown island full of monsters, undead and bandits, and must explore the island, upgrade your weapons and armour, and improve your fighting skills, all with the goal of getting home again. You'll be able to hunt for treasure in the uncharted territories, ascend from an outcast to a prominent fighter, building a reputation as you go, and embark on the adventure of exploring the island, delving into the mysteries, uncovering hidden spots and revealing its well-kept secrets. It uses a low poly art style and plays from a top-down or isometric viewpoint, and will release on the 19th of September for £13.49, but you can get 10% off of that price up until just before launch. We then have Loddlenaut, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, and this will see you exploring an open world alien planet, raising aquatic creatures called Loddles that grow based on what they eat. It's effectively an ocean cleanup adventure, so says the blurb, set on an alien planet where you play as an interstellar custodian who is tasked with cleaning up the pollution left behind by a spacefaring mega corporation. You'll need to clean up the debris with your bubble gun, unlocking special gadgets to clean different types of pollution. It says you'll run into the axolotl-like aliens known as Loddles as you go through the game, and you'll need to protect them from the polluted waters and feed them aquatic fruits, and depending on their diet they'll grow in different ways. Perhaps a bit of a Pikmin twist to it then, we'll see. It's out on the 19th and will sell for £15.99 or your regional equivalent. Now this next one really does intrigue me, I must say. It's called No Case Should Remain Unsolved and looks to be a text adventure game of some description, or at least very heavily text based. And it's a detective game where you must uncover and piece together memory fragments to solve a long forgotten case. You'll be following a former police detective as she acquires clues and testimony relating to the case of a missing girl. It says that you'll experience an imaginative deduction system where players connect memories like pieces of a jigsaw, uncover passcodes, keys, 54 conversations and 2 hidden truths, and over the course of the 2 to 3 hour playthrough, which does sound ideal in terms of length for me, players will learn why the child disappeared in the only case the detective ever left unsolved. Probably one for a sale for me, owing to its shorter length, but it's definitely one that I will pick up at some point. It's going to sell for £8.99 and it does actually have a pre-order discount of 10% available up until just before launch. Also this week we have Cricket, Jay's Really Peculiar Game. This is a JRPG which sees you playing as Jay, who after a devastating loss wants to fix the past. It says that you and your newfound friends will go on a journey to the gates of Ymelia, a fabled land on the moon that's rumoured to grant any wish. It says again it's a JRPG which draws on ideas from genre classics but with varied new gameplay twists. And it says the combat incorporates timed hits with special combinations as you team up with your party members. It goes on to say that the better combos you build in battle, the better your rewards, and it does have a very interesting hand-drawn style. It looks very much like a 90s cartoon. Was it Recess that used to be on? Characters look a little bit like that for me. Not sure what the game's got to do with cricket, and I'm not sure why it's so peculiar a game, but it does look interesting, and it's out on the 19th for £20.99. We also have Aura of Worlds, a game where you'll explore multiple dangerous worlds where you utilise creative abilities and wield the environment to your advantage according to the blurb. It says you'll need to escape flooded passages, evade toxic pollen and confront gigantic bosses who have made the mazes their home. It looks as if you can play as you want, either more defensively or on the attack, and there are over 100 unique enemies and traps and more than 14 types of randomly themed levels. It says you have a plethora of creative skills ranging from parkour to camouflage and time manipulation that will allow you to progress through the worlds. Another one with a really nice vibrant art style, and it'll be interesting to see how it pulls everything it's just mentioned together, how the levels are designed in such a way that you can play in so many different ways and still achieve the ultimate outcome. It's out on the 19th and will sell for £13.49. The penultimate game for the week then is Matchbox Driving Adventures. I remember Matchbox cars as a kid much more than Hot Wheels actually, Hot Wheels weren't ever cars that I remember seeing about, but judging by the toy shops these days and the cars that my little boy wants, it looks like Hot Wheels has sped past its competition, if you pardon the pun, although I believe both are actually owned by Mattel these days. Anyway, back to the game. It says you'll jump into an authentic Matchbox vehicle and drive through 6 dynamic locations. You can cruise in adventure mode or choose from 14 tracks in competition mode for a spot on the leaderboard, playing solo or in local co-op. So there are 6 locations, as I mentioned, being the city centre, beach, mountains, Arctic, jungle and volcano, and you can unlock new vehicles and upgrade them with paint jobs and what have you as you go through the game. There is already a Hot Wheels game on the Switch, there's 2 in fact, so it will be interesting to see if this one can compete. It's out on the 20th for £34.99 or your regional equivalent. And the final game for the week then, we have the Karate Kid Street Rumble. This is another game that we saw at Gamescom, and it is a beat 'em up which looks great, which incorporates locations from the first 3 Karate Kid movies. It says you'll step out of the dojo and into the streets of West Valley and Okinawa as you battle waves of enemies in this pixel art side-scrolling beat 'em up. You can play as Daniel, Mr. Miyagi, Ali or Kumiko, and it says the game features intense martial arts combat and frenetic action mixed with plenty of retro flair. I do really like the pixel art style, and by the trailer it looks like it runs very well. I'm definitely interested in this one, being a big fan of beat 'em up games. It's selling for £34.99, which is pretty expensive. There's some very good beat 'em ups on the Switch that are available for less than that price, so this is going to have to be good, but it releases on the 20th if you are interested. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of these games interest you? Will you be picking any of them up? Please do let us know in the comment section below. Another thank you to the sponsor of today's video, PQ and their game NanoApostle. It really is a fantastic game. We do have a full video on it. I'll put a card to it in the top right hand corner if you want to give it a watch. And don't forget, if you're looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can use our website switchup.gg to get your eShop cards, and doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back as cashback that you can use against a future purchase. There's also a link down there to PlayAsia if you're looking to import any games. Use the link, use the code stated, and you get yourself 5% off of your order from there. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support. It really does mean a lot, especially as the Switch's life cycle starts to dial down. And a thank you to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.